Well, anyway, along one of the things that I discuss with people a lot is, regarding government or regarding anarchy or regarding, voluntarism, whether or not people believe in intellectual property, and I don't. I don't believe in intellectual property at all. Intellectual property is obviously, if anybody doesn't know what intellectual property is, it's basically in line with the idea that you own an idea. That you can, if you trademark an idea, you copyright an idea, you file a patent, and the patent's awarded to you. You own that thing. You own the idea. You own slogans. You can own a slogan according to these people, and you just own ideas. And if people copy you, they're stealing from you. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if I make a copy of a CD that you made. It doesn't matter if I made, if I streamed or ripped your song off off the internet. It doesn't matter what I do, even though I didn't actually steal the original copy or the original thing, whether it's tangible or not. If I steal your idea, I can be, in violation of some trademark or a violation of some copyright or any kind of intellectual property laws or rights. And the sadism behind that is quite comical, because understanding this, and a lot of people that believe in intellectual property don't even believe in property rights to begin with. If I physically own a house, you think I shouldn't be able to own that house, but somehow you own an idea, and you own it. And if I even copy your idea, I'm stealing from you. So with people who believe in intellectual property, anything is theft. If if four companies come up with the same slogan, you tried the best, or you tried the rest, now try the best. Those four companies hear about each other, and each of those four companies have the same slogan. Now they're suing. Now if they know about each other, they're gonna sue each other until either a settlement's reached, or until separate lawsuits are settled, or go to trial, go for civil court, whatever, civic court or whatever, and one of them comes out a winner. Well, because I did it first. I said it first. I made the slogan first. Well, they'll sit there and argue that one of those people or one of those companies owns that slogan. You tried the rest. Now try the best. The thing is, it's not really original slogan, because that's pretty. I think that's pretty. It's a pretty weak slogan, and it's a pretty typical and cliche-ridden slogan. But whatever, to each their own. But anyway, if those four companies or corporations started suing each other because they think each of them thinks the other three stole their idea, someone's got to have the original idea. Someone had to originally have that idea and executed that idea, first. And whoever did it first should get the credit and should get the money and should get royalties or whatever it encompasses. Well, the problem with that is there's room for competition. You don't own a slogan. You don't own an idea. How can I claim that I own an idea when what is someone there's billions of people out there. This world is full of people, and they're bound to come up with the same or similar ideas for anything. Whether it's for a song, a poem, a movie, a car, an addition to a car, a certain part for a car, an improvement to a part on a car, an improvement to the wheels on a car, the improvement to a song, or even a parody of a song. I'm surprised parodies of songs aren't considered copying songs or a violation of the songwriter's rights or copyrights. But even those things have their limitations. But like I said, if I own a CD, say the very best of The Who or something, or the very best of David Bowie, if I own a copy of that CD, okay, I purchased a copy from the CD store, or a record store. I went to Best Buy and bought a copy, or I went to wherever, Border, when Border was still around, or you go to Target and you buy a CD. Well, if you own that CD, a copy of the CD, and you made a copy of the CD that you own, how is that intellectual theft? How is that intellectual property theft? You bought a copy, and you're copying the copy that you bought. You own the copy. You're not claiming ownership of the original concept or the original disc. like the master disc or the master copy. You don't own the master copy. You're not claiming ownership of the master copy. You're only claiming ownership of the original or the copy that you bought. And you're not going to go around saying that I own this, but you make copies for your friends, or you make copies for yourself just in case you scratch the original disc and it's not playable anymore, or you upload it to the internet and share it with other people on. Well, most of them are defunct now. Like Napster's defunct. I think LimeWire's even defunct. SoulSeek or something. It's been so long since I used SoulSeek, I don't even remember what it's called anymore. So half the time I just convert YouTube videos to MP3s when I want to listen to a song that I don't own on CD. But whatever, CDs are outdated, and that's the whole concept of digital music. Is everybody's freaking out? Well, what about my royalties? What about my extra cash? You know what? You don't just hurt David Bowie when you copy one of his CDs and put it on the internet. You hurt the engineers and the people that worked on that David Bowie CD, which is bullshit because they all work for scale anyway. They would get paid no matter what. That's how their end of the bargain works. Engineers, people who work, people who work on, albums, and the engineers and the people who produce music. They work on a certain scale. They work on agreed upon price. They don't work based on how many copies David Bowie sells, or how many copies Megadeth sells, or Lionel Richie. Oh, if Lionel Richie doesn't sell 20 million copies of his latest hit album, well, I'm going to be starving in the streets. That doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. These people get paid anyway. These people get paid to produce. They get paid to engineer the music. All the other factions that go into making making a CD or making an album in the studios. It isn't just, the thing is, like authors of books, just like books, albums are just like books. The author of the album isn't called an artist or called a band, depending on what it is. Pink Floyd is a band or an artist. The artists that make up Pink Floyd make up a band. Well, the band that's known as Pink Floyd, the money they make off album sales is an agreed upon price, whether it's a percentage or whether it's a round figure on each record sold, on each CD or tape or whatever medium that the album appears on, an LP, or something of that sort. Pink Floyd gets a certain amount of money per unit that's sold. And it's an agreed upon price. Some artists I've heard get as low as 10 cents a copy. Some artists I don't know how true this is, but I've known people that work in the music business, even though they're not, big time producers or big time artists. They were local artists that had some CDs pressed and had some idea of how part of the music industry works. They were telling me these things about, they were telling me about, how musicians get paid off of their music when it comes to the pressing of CDs and the pressing of albums and, the tapes and all that stuff, the copies of their album that they sell. They only get a certain percentage of the money anyway. So only a certain percentage of the overall wealth that the big time artist garner is based on the music that's actually on their albums. Most of the money they actually do is probably through merchandising and also touring. Touring's a big money cash cow for the artist too. If an artist embarks on a sold out tour, they're making a shitload of money off of that, and it accumulates. But whatever. So let's go back to the faces behind the artist, the faces behind the music when it comes to producing the music. Well, in the studios, there's at least the engineer and the producer and maybe a few other people, but there's at least a few other people besides the artist when it comes to an album. And sometimes they're thanked in the liner notes of the CD or whatever, or in the album or whatever. But these people are paid on some kind of scale that's not based on how many albums or how many units that artist moves. So you're not hurting the producers or the engineers or the people behind the album when you don't buy a copy of the album, when you take a copy of the album, or when you take a CD and make a copy of the CD. You're not hurting the people behind the album. they're paid anyway. They were paid long before you even copied that CD. So you're not hurting them. And that's a myth that you're hurting other people than the artist. Well, the artist might be rich, but what if the producer, what if the engineer, what if the people behind the scenes who don't make anywhere as much money as the artist? You hurt them the most because their money or their job depends on those people making those albums. Well, first of all, even if you didn't have a concrete medium or media to put the song on, what if you just produced the song? Producers, engineers, those people are still needed to help produce a record or help produce a recording, whether it's a digital recording or whether you have reel of tape the size of a master bedroom, or whatever, reel to reel, CD, album, it doesn't matter. What if it's a digital recording that goes straight from one computer to another computer, one digital device to another digital device? It doesn't matter. A producer still have to be made, unless a person self-produces their music and knows how to edit music, knows how to add certain sound effects that they want added to the music, and the way they want their vocals harmonized or altered. Unless they know what they're doing, they're still going to have outside help on producing a song or an album worth of songs. So those people are still needed to produce that music, and they're still going to make money off of it because they're going to get paid for the job no matter what. It doesn't matter if they move 100,000 copies or if Apple iTunes picks up the crap. Somehow someone's going to get paid no matter what. I mean, unless you're a complete independent artist or a complete independent contractor, a complete independent studio that doesn't intend on making money. You're just making music for the passion, and you don't intend on making money, and you don't charge people fees to produce their music. Then that's a different story. But that's whatever. That's a totally different story. The problem is intellectual property is nonsense. It's a silly concept, and it's funny because people tell me, "Oh well, communists hate intellectual property." No, they don't. Communists love intellectual property because despite the fact that communists pretend to hate anything that benefits a certain person with an extra boatload of money, they're full of crap because even communists love money. They just pretend they don't. In the abstract, they hate money because they don't have it. But once they have money, they're technically not even a communist anymore, except for in basic principle and basic, word of mouth. They're not, but their actions are not communist. You can vocalize communism. It doesn't mean you're living it. A lot of communists, pretend communists or whatever, they love the idea of intellectual property because they even though they hate personal property or private property, or you shouldn't own a house or you shouldn't own a car because I don't own a house or car. You better not touch my jeans and you better not copy my CD. You better not copy my book either because you're stealing from me. So people who hate property somehow love property in other senses that aren't actually tangible. Ideas aren't tangible. They're not. It's not a mouse. It's not a can of soda. Okay. You're not. How can you own a thought? Thoughts are not. They're not. You can't own a thought. I'm sorry. I really don't. I really don't understand this. How can you own a thought? I own a thought. You can't think the same thing I think because if you do, I'm going to sue you. Because under the intellectual property right of 1914, just kidding, that's not really a thing. But there's all sorts of copyright laws that come up out of nowhere, and that people vote on, or legislation happens, and then it forces people to, think outside of that thing, and they got to think harder, and they got to kind of change what they're doing, and you can't copy people, or you can't do things that look like they're copying other people, and it's like taking a logo that's not technically yours and just making it a copy of it. How's that theft? If you make a copy of something, how's that theft? I mean, it's not like, this shirt, I don't know if you can see it, says Mountain Dew here. What if, and that was a cheap shirt, this is only a $7 t-shirt, but what if I could make my own Mountain Dew logoed, make my own shirt with a Mountain Dew logo on it for $2. I found a plain cotton white T-shirt, a black cotton T-shirt, and somehow I was able to basically impose a logo of my choice onto that T-shirt for less money than what I would be doing if I paid someone else, or if I actually paid official Mountain Dew and Pepsi companies, their PepsiCo and all them, their official merchandising. What if I went against that and made my own T-shirt with a logo that I found, or I copied a logo, or what if I went to a print shop, or what if I went to these T-shirt websites, these websites that do T-shirts. What if they didn't stop the copyright infringements? They do, though. They'll stop it. Most of these places don't allow you to copyright to do copyright material, even if it's altered. Even if you alter the copyright, not copyright. Even if you alter the logo, they would not accept that, and they wouldn't allow you to purchase that. They wouldn't allow you to purchase if they recognize any part of the picture or logo, even if you altered it, they'll flag you with copyright infringement. I mean, they won't tell the people, but they'll say we're not allowed to print copyrighted material. Basically, they can't print shirts with copyrighted material on. So they even when I remember one time I altered a logo. I altered a picture of a character in a movie, and I altered it. I altered the colors and the hue and the saturation and all that stuff of the picture, and I couldn't even make that. I couldn't even allow that. They wouldn't even allow it. They wouldn't even, because they recognized part of the picture or the character. And it was funny because I'm not actually stealing anything. All I did was copy a picture of something and tried to make it a T-shirt. Because guess what? I had the creativity to, in my mind, I had the creativity to alter a logo or alter a picture and to something that I liked. I liked it. I liked the way that the picture came out because I altered it the way I wanted to alter it, and I wanted a T-shirt print of it because I thought it was pretty cool. But they don't want that because of the copyright infringement. Even though you're not copying the exact picture, you're taking the picture and altering it. Just like I mentioned, my Mountain Dew T-shirt. It was only $7.50 at Walmart. Well, on Walmart.com, I can also find Mountain Dew T-shirts for $4.50. Of course, before taxation, which is theft. Before theft is what they would call it. Well, before theft, it's $4.50, but after theft, it's close to $5. But so with people with that, it's that what if I could make a Mountain Dew T-shirt for $2? What if I was able to make a Mountain Dew T-shirt for $2? I couldn't because somehow, if Mountain Dew, Pepsi Cola or whoever owns the merchandising copyrights to Mountain Dew, which is most likely PepsiCo, Pepsi Cola, they're the parent company of Mountain Dew and all that. They most likely own the merchandising rights, or Mountain Dew owns its own merchandising rights with cooperation from PepsiCo. They would probably find a way of, they'd probably find a way of not suing me, but maybe finding a way to, tell me that I've infringed copyright or something. Maybe potentially ask me for a cut on the money, or maybe actually go ahead and sue me. If those people didn't stop me from copyright infringement, I could potentially get sued. If they thought it was a big enough problem, if it came to their attention and it was a big enough problem for them, they would sue me. And that's what's funny is people don't realize that intellectual property helps corporations more than it helps the little person. And either way, you're screwing someone out of creativity because someone copied your idea and made it better, or to their knowledge made it better. You want to sue them, or you want to attack them, or you want to invoke government protections to stamp out competition. Well, what if Coke did that to Pepsi? Even though Pepsi doesn't copy Coke, it's a similar product. There's a lot of colas on the market that aren't Coke that taste different than Coke, but they all follow the same general recipe for cola. And now that over a century has passed since the original Coca-Cola came out and the original Pepsi-Cola came out, they changed the ingredients. Most colas don't have cola nut extract, which is the original ingredient in cola. That's why it's called cola, is because it's from cola nut extract. The cola nut and the cola nut extract is one of the main ingredients in cola, original cola, even in Pepsi and Coca-Cola, and I think probably even RC Cola when they came out with that, when RC Cola came out. Any major cola originally had that recipe because that's why it was named cola. The basic soda name was cola. Whether it's Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola or what have you. So if Coca-Cola came up to Pepsi-Cola and said, "You stole our idea, we're suing you," would that make any sense? Of course, intellectual property nut jobs would say yes, but any kind of logical person, exerting this thing called logic, would say intellectual property makes no sense. Because just because you copy something doesn't mean you claim ownership of the original thing. Okay, so just because Pepsi-Cola came out with their own, Caleb Bradham came out with his, cola and called it Brad's drink before finally they came up with the name Pepsi-Cola, because one of the ingredients was in Pepsi-Cola was I want to say it's pepsaicin or something like that, which is not an ingredient, I don't think, in original Coca-Cola. So obviously it's different from Coca-Cola. But originally Pepsi was called Brad's drink, named after Caleb Bradham, who was the original proprietor of Pepsi-Cola and the Pepsi drink. Why didn't, I'm sure if Coca-Cola wanted to, they probably could go after him or go after the proprietors of Pepsi-Cola and say that, well, you stole our idea. We need that money. We need to extort some royalties from you because you stole our idea. Either you go out of business or we'll put you out of business. See, all intellectual property sums up to is government protectionism. You want to use the government to protect you from competition. If someone comes up with something better and it's similar to you, you want to cry foul because you want the extra money without the extra effort. I mean, you're no different than the corporations that use government to their own ends and make billions of dollars. Okay, if you're so against corporations, you would also be against the government, who basically allows corporations to survive. Corporations wouldn't survive in the real world without government protections. And these people who love intellectual property are in line with corporations. They want governments to protect them from creativity, from competition. Well, I don't feel like being creative anymore. I should just sit on my invention and make billions of dollars off the idea, even though I don't feel like improving on it. But if that guy over there improves on my invention, I'm going to freak out and sue him, because unless he finds a way of patenting his improvement, he stole my idea, even if it's just an improvement on my idea. So, like I said, if anybody knows me, I'm a Pepsi-Cola guy. That's why I keep mentioning Pepsi, guys. No, I'm just kidding. But it's all relative, because I'm discussing the differences and similarities of products on the market. But that's basically the gist of what I'm trying to say, is that when people claim that intellectual property it's a proponent of libertarianism, or intellectual property would be protected in anarchy, or protected in an anarchist society or volunteer society. It wouldn't be, most likely, because most people realize that in order to compete with other businesses and other people and to stay fresh, you're going to have to change your ideas. You're going to have to improve your ideas. And if people are copying your ideas and making it better, you're not going to be able to. I mean, if you want to stagnate innovation, you want to stagnate, creativity and all that, and basic freedom of the free market, yeah, go ahead. Call out on protectionism. Make them, monopolize your services, monopolize things, because that's what you want. Because you're not wanting to actually compete with people. You want to steal. You want to take away competition. You want to break down competition for your own gain, rather than serving people and squashing the competition by providing a better service or better product. And that's the problem with people, is that's not capitalism. That's not free market enterprise. That's not the free market. You're using some kind of intervention from government or some higher power authority, some central authority, with implied authority. It's implied authority that you're using that to stamp out competition and to basically make up for the lack of your own creativity. If you lack creativity, it's not someone else's fault that you can't compete without other people's protection. I mean, and they shouldn't be privy or subject to the same problems that you're having. If a person innovates and a person basically mops the floor with you, well, you need to figure out a better business strategy, or you're going to go out of business. But that doesn't work that doesn't work that way in this realm, in the realm of government protections. People don't want to provide a good service and a good product. They just want the government to protect them from better competition. When the competition comes up with a better product and a better solution and a better service, the other company will always invoke government protections to ensure that they themselves are protected from competition. And what happens, it's a blow to the free market. It's a blow to consumers, to the free market at will. It's just the free market always provides the best solution to the problems, to everyday problems. And most people don't realize this. They just hinge on this creepy, disgusting, deceitful government protectionism known as intellectual property. Copyrights, let's hear copyrights, trademarks, what else, what have you, patents. Those are all government protections. If you need a government to protect you from competition, you're worthless, and your business is worthless, and your ideas are worthless. And I truly believe that. And this is the problem with society. That's really all I have to say about this, besides the fact that if you really want to be in line with corporations, don't complain when corporations control the government, and also don't complain about government when you don't want to do anything about it besides give people more government, to force more government on people. If you claim to hate corporations, you would also hate government, but I guess that's another story for another time. But yeah, that's all I have to say for intellectual property for now.